Okay, hi. We are going to talk about what it looks like for exercise and movement for me at 60. And this question was asked a lot of me throughout various different comment threads within my videos. And so I wanted to talk about that. First, we're going to go on a little walk in the woods, and I'm going to explain, how I exercise and what that means to me, what that looks like. And then we come back home, and I'm going to show you some of the movements that I do that I think are beneficial long-term for mobility as we get older. And then last but not least, I forgot I have a mini rebounder, and I forgot to mention that, and I'll show you what that looks like for a few minutes. So thanks for being here, and go ahead and stay tuned, and we're going to jump to that first little scene. Hi there. I am out at my park close to my house, came out for a walk, and I thought I would take this time to stop for a minute and talk about what exercise looks like for me at 60. I've had people ask in the comments of my videos that ask questions about fitness, like what does that look like? How does my exercise routine look? So that's what I wanted to share today. And I have never been one of those people that feels super motivated when I see people doing extraordinary things. So women that are over 50, 60 maybe, and they're able to do 15 or 20 pull-ups, or maybe they're running a marathon or they're super built and really work out hardcore with a lot of weights. And I mean, it's inspiring to look and say, wow, look what they did. And it's kudos to them because it's impressive and it took a lot of training for them to do that. But it doesn't inspire me personally because I know that I'm not going to do that. It just doesn't fit in my life right now. And I want to see the everyday, just average person who's getting up, getting out the door and going and doing different forms of activity that don't require hours of training. So what motivates us definitely changes as we get older. That used to be motivating to me. I used to want to try and do those things, but that's changed somewhat. I used to be the person that used to do all the exercise videos, the firm aerobic workouts. Does anybody remember those? I think number 2 was my favorite. It was Janet Jones-Gretzky, and Susan Harris was the first one maybe, but she was my favorite, and I still follow her on Instagram, interestingly enough, all these years later. But those were great, and I did those all the time. There was also one that was a power yoga. I used to do that all the time. But I loved that type of regimen, that planned activity that I knew was going to last for a foreseeable amount of time. There was Richard Simmons on TV, if you want to go into the 80s too, and Denise Austin. I used to love Denise Austin. I remember getting ready for school in the morning, and I would get up and I'd do these 15-minute workouts with Denise Austin, who, by the way, is still out there doing her thing, and she looks great. She just struck me as so sweet, and I really liked watching her. But I also did stair steppers and, all kinds of equipment. I have had gym memberships in the past. I don't anymore, but I've had them. Now what works for me and what I do is walking. And I walk probably, maybe 3-ish miles when I go out and walk pretty regularly. 3, 4, maybe 5 times a week if it's a really good week. And I've got to walk. There's some neighborhoods close to me, and then of course this park is only about a mile away from my house, and that's where I will get up and walk. And how fast I walk just depends on my mood and how I feel, and how my knee, I've got arthritis in one of my knees, how that feels. And I might be a 16 or 17 minute mile pace if I'm having a really great day, and if I'm just having an average day, it might be 18, 19, 20 maybe minute miles. So that's about what it looks like now, but it's cardio, and it counts, and it gets my heart rate up, and it moves my joints, and it's good for blood pressure and cholesterol and blood sugar, and that's why I do it. I do it for mobility reasons. That's the primary objective, but there's a lot of benefit from it from a mental health standpoint. I feel better after I've gotten out and walked. So that is the main thing that I do now. I want to continue to be as active and mobile as I can, and still go on hikes and do things with my husband, who is significantly younger than me and an ultra marathon runner. So I am definitely behind his curve a bit, but that's okay. I'm just going to keep doing what I can for as long as I can. And yeah, that's it. I also do lots of things, I know, yoga. I do yoga still, but not like I used to. I used to do it a lot, and one of the people that I followed, her name is Adrienne. It's Yoga with Adrienne, and she's on YouTube, and I think it's been well over 10 years that I've followed her, and she's great. Like, she does workouts that are everything from chair yoga for people that have mobility issues, or she will specifically do targeted sessions where if you have your knees are bad, or you have different types of back discomfort, that kind of thing. And she's great, but she also will really kick your butt if you're looking for a really hard session too. So she's great. So I do that, and I do things repetitively throughout every day that I think are going to help from a longevity standpoint with my mobility. So I'll do I can't remember if I said this or not, a plank, a 1 minute plank, do it a couple times a day. I'll do that every day, or I'll do assisted push-ups. I come out of the bathroom, there's my bathroom counter, and I'll do 10 of those, and I do that multiple times throughout the day. Or pick up objects that aren't necessarily a hand weight, and just do some different motions that are going to help biceps and triceps and my shoulders, and I do that every day. I sit on the floor. I choose that over sitting at a table to work on my plants. And there's a plane flying over. There we go. So instead of sitting at a table or something higher, I'll get on the floor, and that's where I work on them. And I'm on the floor with my grandkids, and being able to get up off the floor is a pretty big deal, and so we should be able to do that when we get older. Balance is important. When you're standing there making a cup of coffee, pull one leg up off the floor and just balance. You're going to strengthen your core that way, and it's going to help a lot accumulatively. So I think I've always struggled with, if I didn't have a gym membership, or say I didn't have the time or the inclination to want to do a specific 30-minute a workout or whatever, if I didn't have the time to do it, then I would it would basically be a surrender. I wouldn't do it after all. But I find that if I can do little movements throughout the day, I can do a sun salutation in the morning, or I can do a forward fold while I'm in the kitchen waiting for something, or just those little motions. And that's what I'm looking at this point in my life. So do what you can. When you can get out the door and get out the door and go walk, then what's not to love about that? If it's something that's within your abilities, then it's definitely a good move. So now there's a bug after me. So anyway, just wanted to touch base with everyone. That's what it looks like for me. And talk soon. Okay, I am back home, and I thought I would show you a few of the things that I was talking about in my video about movement that I just made about walking. So here's a few of the things that I do literally every day, kind of all day, on and off throughout the day. And it's things that I think can make a difference for longevity standpoint. And I'm not claiming to have perfect form on anything. I am not claiming to be some fitness guru. I am a normal person who's just showing you what I do every day that I feel is beneficial. And so let's just look at a couple of the things. So one thing that I mentioned was doing push-ups, like coming out of the bathroom, just based on a counter. And that is literally, this is the bathroom. I come out of the bathroom and go up on my toes, hold my core in as tight as I can, and then literally just go forward. You can't really see it real well, but let me try that. And then do that 10 times, and then that's with the hands straight forward, and then I'll put them out further and go in for a deeper stretch, and I will do that 10-ish times, and I do that multiple times throughout the day. Just when I come out of the bathroom, it takes a minute, 2 minutes. but it's strengthening. It's helping to strengthen my arms and my shoulders and my triceps, and not to try and look all cut, and defined, which is not a bad thing to have happen, but I want it for the functionality. So I do that every single day. I do have weights, and I do sometimes do some resistance training with weights, but I wanted to show you today some of the little things that aren't like a planned workout. And this is a rock. This sounds random, but this is a rock we picked up on a hike in North Carolina. And I use this to keep my shades open when the window's open so they don't flap back and forth. Every time I go near my window, I literally will take this, it's about a 6-pound rock, and literally do this. Now, is it that big a deal? No. But does it help? Does it make a difference? Yes, it does. And those little movements are what are going to help you carry the bags when you need to carry the bags, or lift something that you need to lift. I do that regularly. When you're waiting for your coffee to be fixed, I kind of briefly tried to show this, but come up on and pull your leg up. And what you're going to try to do is hold this position, either with your arm on something or not. Not just hold the position, but really, really stretch until you feel the quad stretch here in the front, because there's a large band of muscle that surrounds the lower part of your body. And that muscle, when it gets tight, can cause lower back discomfort. I do this all the time, and I really stretch it out for about a minute or so. Also, this is helping with balance. And obviously that's super important getting older as we're trying to function. And so I do that on both legs, and I do that, I'm standing in the kitchen, you put something in the microwave and you're waiting for it. Different balance movements. Maybe you're just going up on one leg. Maybe you're moving the leg. Maybe you're going forward and backwards. It's those little things. Sitting in a chair doesn't sound like a big deal, right? Up and down. When you do it repeatedly, you're doing those repeated motions. So here, standing upright, but this is helping your knees, and this is helping your butt, and this is helping your thighs. They're little things, but you repeat those motions and it gets easier. Also, another one that's really great for lower back discomfort, and I have a lot of that, and I do this a lot. So pull your leg up on your knee, sit up as straight as you can, and really kind of, if you're able to do this, push into your knee. This is a great hip stretch, and it feels so good to your lower back. And maybe you're watching TV when you do this. That's what I do, right? And I'll just sit up like that for a while. Flexibility things that you can do, not necessarily yoga stretches, but with your feet. Rotate your ankles. Bend your toes, rotate your ankles. Those kind of little things will make a difference accumulatively. One big one for a lower back that I do a lot too is basically a runner's lunge. So you go down into the lunge, which if you aren't able to do it that far down, if you go down to your knee and really stretch into it, this is again going to release that same large muscle, and also you're stretching your quads, which supports you. So speaking of support, I sit on the floor a lot, and if you sit on the floor, one of the goals as we get older should be able to get up off the floor, because if we fall, we need to have the strength in our bodies to be able to get up. So I sit on the floor a lot because I've got grandkids, little grandkids, 2-year-olds right now, and 7-year-olds, and we're on the floor a lot. But you want to be able to get up on your own without your hands. And that's something that you can practice, and learn and practice. And even if you start off getting up and down, holding onto something, perfectly okay. That's great. Those little motions will help you though. So that's just a few of the things that I do. And then I do actual yoga stretches. Waking up in the morning, it seems like one of those things where people wake up and go, da, 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 like when you wake up. But you do. Wake up and stretch your body. That's really important. Keep doing stretches throughout the day. You can feel it. Like sometimes I hear my shoulders just pop like crazy when I do it. But those things make a difference. So give it a try, and thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Also, the next one I'm going to make is another question that I've had a lot about has been diet, nutrition. What do I do? What does that look like for me at 60? And I will do that in another video and show you. I've got a smoothie that I do probably 5 times a week at least, and it has like 18 ingredients in it, and I will explain some of that. So thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye. Okay, one more thing I forgot to mention that I do because I start talking and rambling and I can't keep my thoughts straight. I also have a rebounder, a little mini rebounder, and I don't do this for great big long periods of time, but it helps with lymphatic drainage, and I will do this maybe 5 minutes a day. And you don't always have to go off of the mat. Most of the times I don't. My feet are just kind of bouncing up and down, so the front of my foot is moving, the heel's lifting up and down, and 5 minutes. And this stays in the living room probably most of the time, actually, because the grandkids love jumping on it, but because I can stand and just watch TV in between. I'm waiting for something to boil or, you know, something like that. So also, sometimes I'm on your toes actually is good too. Anyway, that was the last thing. There's no more little video clips coming after this. So let me know in the comments, what do you do for exercise and what does it look like for you? Thanks for watching again and again. Bye.